So you've gone through loading up the NinjaTrader and your first template that's been provided by me, which is always called a starter template because there will be slight deviations and variations. I'm going to show you those variations now. I'm going to go through a simple process to re-optimize for your account size. So I'm going to use the one contract HG. That's for an account size of, say, anything from $7,000 to $15,000. Because of the leverage and margin, that's the sort of account size you need to trade this full contract of HG, one contract. So this is actually a client's VPS. I'm keeping his identity totally anonymous here, but he had a $30,000 live account. So you can trade more contracts. So what I'm going to do is just go through a simple process of increasing that amount of contracts, because going from one to two contracts or more, we can start to look at the trades that run. So I'm going to go through this process nice and slowly. But first of all, I'm just going to put the chart up. So when I have done a strategy on my NinjaTrader Continuum account, I look for the data series, and in this one I've changed it to 80, but I'm going to go back to 70 a second because I used 70 days. Now it's very important that you understand that data providers, different brokers, provide data in slightly different ways. The prices are almost identical, but the way in which they present that is different, and that affects the guardian zones. And the guardian zones are something that allows us to get into a trade or not. If there's no fresh air, it won't trade. So I'm going to put this back at 70 days. This account is, even though it's on a NinjaTrader platform, it's a different brokerage that is providing the data, and obviously brokerage account. And I'm just going to put that strategy on. Again, when we go to template, I'm going to right click on the chart, open up the strategy. I'm going to load that template here. I'm going to click apply. I'm going to look at the strategy performance. And as you can see here, my max drawdown is $988. Now on my strategy, it's about $14. Now there is one instance earlier on where we get a loser, the main loser, and that's purely because the guardian zones haven't got enough data to print the one that stopped it on my particular chart. It's a little nuanced, but it's always better to go further out. I'm just going to find that now. I'm just going to look at that bottom profit line and look for that loser. I think it's almost like 3rd of May or something like that. Let me just find it. Most of them are winners, but I just want to find that one loser. Okay, so there it is. I'm just going to click on the chart here where it says show previous zones. And we can see this 15-minute zone here, which would have stopped that long, started printing later on. Okay, so I put previous zones on there, but on mine, on 70 days, this was further along. It took into these accounts, these pivots into account. So remember that on the 3rd, just before the 3rd of May. What I'm going to do now, and sometimes you're going to have to do this, if I say 70 days data series, go an extra 10 days, okay? So I'm going to go to data series now. I'm going to change that to 80 days. So it's got more data to produce those zones. So it's going to have to calculate, bear with it. Okay, it's done the calculation, did it very fast because this is the VPS that we suggest when you join. Very fast institutional grade VPS. I'm going to go all the way to the 3rd of May. There, no trade. Just going to go to show previous zones, and you can see there that's why it didn't take the trade. So it's a different data provider, and the way that the Guardian zones are looking at those trades, we didn't get that trade because those zones were there, and that's what's important. Okay, so very important to understand that even though I may say 60 or 70 days, put an extra 10 days on just to make sure you've got that same data and that same data performance report. So when I now look at this strategy performance, you can see max drawdown $13.86, so a very little loser. So that's accounted for that discrepancy, and that's one thing you're going to have to look at. So check those performance reports. So the next thing I want to do is I want to play with the strategy a little bit, because this is one contract. Remember, this particular client has more than $10,000. He has $30,000, and I thought this was a good way to increase that by just one contract. Okay, so I'm going to go to strategies, and just disable now. So on a type 1 trade, I want to change the entry quantity down here, type 1. So I've right clicked, I've disabled. I'm going to go to entry quantity 2. Okay, so I'm now going to change the target 2 quantity to 2. Yeah, just take both contracts off at that point. We'll see how that progresses. We do want to look for runners, but we need to look at the behavior on the chart. So again, with type 2 trades, I'm going to find where we get the entry quantity. I want that at 2, not 3. And I'm going to look at taking both of those off at target 2. Again, type 3. Entry quantity 2. And I'm going to look at target quantity 2 is at 60, and I am going to put target quantity 3 for one contract, so that's a total of 2 at 150, and I'm going to click apply. So now we've increased the risk, but if we've got a very strong strategy with very max drawdown, it's not going to increase that max drawdown on these current figures. It may if you have a loser. This is why we, the rule of thumb is with oil and copper, $10,000, one contract, $20,000, 2 contracts, okay? $30,000, 3 contracts, but I've only gone to 2 for this very simple tutorial. So the next thing is I'm going to right click and look at strategy performance for the Slingshot, real time and historical. And I'm going to see, okay, no extra max drawdown. It has decreased the profit slightly, but there was 3 contracts in there instead of 1. But the main thing has got a 93% win rate. The next thing I want to do is I've just put previous zones on there. I want to see, okay, so at this moment in time, this type 2 sell, for example, was stopped out target 2. It could have continued all the way to target 3 and beyond. So there's an opportunity to change by not allowing that to take the profit all at target 2. But I need more confirmation. I need more. So all I'm doing is grabbing hold of the bottom and looking for the next winner. I'm then going to look at this. So this time we've got a type 1 sell. Both contracts were taken out at target 2. But look, this never took the trading stop out all the way down here. This is the opportunity where we can see with a type 1 in particular, we get a runner. Okay, what we call it just keeps going. Even though it bounces off this support and resistance zone, it never takes out that trailing stop. So when I see that, I want to make sure that I want to make this one change just to make sure it increases that profit whilst not increasing that loss. So I'm going to go to strategies. I'm going to disable. So right click on the chart, go to strategies, disable it. Type 1 trade. So we've increased the quantity to 2, that's fine. But remember, we're taking both off at target 2. If I just take one off at target 2, because I want to take a little bit of profit, and let the other one run, which means I don't put a quantity in either target 1 or target 2, the algorithm then will automatically switch to manage it with that trailing stop. So we've made one alteration. Okay, that's all we've made. We make one alteration and we recheck. So we're going to enable the strategy, click apply, let it load up. So this time I'm going to go back to show previous zones. We can see it exited at the next Guardian zone, but that's not right. It could still come down further. Let's just have a look at the performance report. Okay, so we've not really increased the profit much. There's no extra loss, but I think we could do a lot better by changing that next parameter. So again, you can either screenshot that or right click and export it as a CSV to compare. I'm just going to, for ease on this video, I'm just going to screenshot that. So I've got it. I've got a record of it. So now I'm going to go to strategies and I'm going to go and on type 1 trade here, you can see where there's an exit on Guardian Zone Touch. Let's just disable that. Let's see if once we get a runner it powers through those support and resistance zones. So you can see now this trade would continue all the way down through the close to this point here. Really long trade. So now let's look at that strategy performance report. So by making that one thing, we've gone from $9,417 profit in that 80-day period to $11,161. We've not increased that max drawdown. We've got the same amount of trades. We've just optimized to get more because we're adding that extra contract. So that's a good improvement that we've got there. So I just took another screenshot of that because now I just need to go back. I want to look at that type 2 trade we had. And is there any opportunities to actually say, okay, type 2, let's try and run that to target 3. Okay, let me just look at that previous zones. Right, there's a previous zone there which would not help us out at that point. So again, I'm going to have to make some changes here to type 2 trades. So what I want to do is this time I'm going to take one off at target 2 and I'm going to put one at target 3. Exit on Guardian Zones is already disabled on type 2 trades when I optimized it for one contract. So now we can look at this. So the trade, now that extra contract went to target 3. How did it affect the strategy performance report? Because remember, there were other trades. Did it actually go the wrong way for us? But no. Yes. Okay. So it made an extra $400. Okay. We're still, max drawdown is still $9.24. And we've gone from 11,161 to 11,500. Okay. So just as a trial, what I want to do now, I've taken a screenshot. I just want to say, right, what if I let those type 2s run like I did with type 1s? In this case, it would have bounced up and actually made less money. But on the other type 2 trades, instead of going and looking backwards, let's see if that makes a difference. So right click, strategies, apply, and so this time I'm going to go to type 2. I am just going to put 0 in take profit at there. So then it'll just follow the trailing stop. Click apply. You see now it didn't take the profit there and it came back there. So this is all to do with optimization and backtesting. So let's look at that performance. It's worse. Okay, so this is the point of you've gone too far. You need to go back to target 3. So with type 2 trades, over this last 80 days, the behavior is actually it bounces off those target threes, whereas type 1 trades just continue to go. Okay, so the first thing we do is change it back. And we're going to take that at target 3, I'm going to click apply. We're going to check this performance is back to where it was, $11,511. Okay, so that's where we are with type 1s and type 2s. What we need to do now is go and look at the behavior of the other trades to see if there's any more improvements that we can make. Because remember, we've changed from the starter strategy that you got from me. And those will be re-optimized with that particular contract in mind. You've had to now, because your account size, increase the amount of contracts. So you're going to have to do a little bit of work. The more you do it, the more you practice, the more you become proficient. I'm going to find the next trade. So this is a type 3 sell now. So I can see, remember we changed to get to target 1 and target 2, but we've left a reasonable amount on the table. Not a great deal, to be honest. But I want to see. I want to probably increase that first target by a little. And then we'll see if that, so we've done type 1, type 2s. We want to see if we can optimize this to increase that profit. So what I want to do first, there's a couple of things I want to do. I want to increase the price, the movement in ticks on the type 3 for that first target. So total distance, so target quantity, one of those contracts at 60 ticks, but we saw that we're leaving quite a bit on the table there. So what I want to do is I want to change that to 100. Now, I'm going to make that one change. I'm going to see if it makes a difference for the better or for the worse. Because sometimes it's best to bank one early, but we'll see. Okay, so we can see now that will come a little lower. How does it affect the strategy performance? So now we're at 12,436 from 11,500. It makes a big difference. Max drawdown, still the same. So maybe I've got a little bit more room there. So I'm going to just going to screenshot that just to make sure I've got a... So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put that strategy and put it on the type 3. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that at 150. I'm going to have to change that one to 200. I mean, 200 ticks is a big move, okay? But type 3s are trend failures, okay? So when a trend fails, more often than not, it fails spectacularly, and we want to make sure we can get the most of that. So I had to increase that distance to where that original second contract was taken off, so I've had to increase that one now to 200. Okay, if it doesn't get to 200, it should take the trailing stop out. So let's have a look. So now that first contract's 150, then the next one's 200. How does it affect the performance report? Have we gone too far? 14,548, still that max drawdown is 924. So we've not increased the loss, we've increased the profit by another $100. So we're going the right way. What I want to do before I make any changes, I want to see if there's any more type 3. See, this was a break even, that's fine, it followed the rules, it went through so many ticks, protected before it turned around. There's another type 3 buy, again did the same sort of thing. It went through the first stop loss adjusts and then protected that for a break even trade. Okay, that was a nice trade. Let's see what type of trade that was. So that was a type 3 buy. So again, target 1 was hit, target 2 was hit. There may be a little bit more room to increase both without going too far, but we need to get a good average. So I think there may be an opportunity. Type 1 sell did what it's supposed to do. I don't think there's any changes to type 1 and type 2s that we can make. Okay, so here on the type 3 we were taken out of the Guardian zones because we got that checked. It came back up and actually took out the trailing stop at the, if it would have done a lot lower. So, and on the other ones I didn't see it break through a Guardian zone. So I think that protection is still good, and that setting is good for type 3s there. Let's go through the rest of the data set to see if we see any more type 3s, and then we'll go back. Okay, type 1 sell, that's fine. I don't think we can do any more to those. Okay, type 3 buy, didn't run, but it was protected and took a little bit of profit. Okay, I don't think we got any more. Nope. Okay, so we're going to go back to that type 3. I've got to find it now. Okay, there it is. So again, measuring tool I'm going to use now. I'm going to go to this little ruler here. Going to go to the ruler. I'm going to click on the start here. I'm going to go to that high there. That gives me this amount. The Y value means nothing at this point, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to click on there so it get those little bubbles so you can get to the properties. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to the Y value display. I'm going to check from price to ticks. That's all we need, because that's what we measured, those where we adjust the stop or take the profits. I'm going to save that template as default, so every time I use it, it's the same thing. So now that's 188 ticks to that target there. So we've got 150. So maybe we can go to 180. Let's now adjust that to these highs here. We've got a 274. So we're going to go 180, 250. See if it makes a difference even. So I'm going to go to strategies and disable. Remember, when we get a failure, most of them fail spectacularly. So we're going to go 180, 250. Now remember that other type 3 that ran, it got pretty close when we got to the 200. So that particular trade may make less money, which could affect the overall performance, but we'll see. We just got to get the averages right. Okay, we can see now we've got more profit. So let's see if it's affected that other trade in a negative way. Okay, so we've actually gone up to 15923 now. So we've gone the right way. I don't think, if we can see here, we've not got a great deal more to trade. I think that is a pretty good. We've not increased that max drawdown. So in 80 days, nearly $16,000 profit with 2 contracts, compared to the $9,000 profit with 1 contract. You can never double that because you've got to optimize the strategy in a different way for those contracts. 94% win rates, looking good. What I want to do before I save this is just go back to that other type 3 trade. Move it too fast, I'll miss it. Okay, that's still good. Yeah, that's still good. So that did exit at the Guardian zone there. So actually for me, that's a good thing. Because it didn't go through beyond that 250 that we wanted. The 180 was before a Guardian zone. So this actually was the best outcome we could get for that particular trade. So we've got a really good settings now. So the next thing we want to do is we want to save this as a template, because we're going to be using that template from now on, and we may need to adjust it. You may need to send it to me to get checked, or to say, right, this has gone out of whack now, and there's more videos out there to show you how this is data driven and how to check that data every week. So I'm going to go to strategies. I'm going to click on template, and I'm going to save. So this time it's HG for copper, 12 minute, because that's the time frame. We're on version 2 at the moment of Slingshot. I'm going to put going to put his name, 2 contracts, because I don't know the broker, and the date today is the 28th of June. So now I'm going to save that. It will switch it off, that's fine. Just uncheck, click apply. You see it's on Sim 101 right now, very important. Once we've done that optimization, we are now in pilot mode. We need to run this for a week to see if it performs as you've just optimized. So now click auto entries, let it run. Let it run on Sim, collect the data. No differences. Hopefully we get a trade. Sometimes it doesn't trade in a week. Sometimes it trades once in every 10 days. You need to get that first trade out of the way, make sure it's still behaving properly. Once you've gone through pilot mode, then you put it on live. So that's it. So one thing now, if we go into the Slingshot folder that we talked about, where it's NinjaTrader, templates, strategy, xBrat, Slingshot. Okay, we can see now that new contract is there. So if you want to share that in the Teams group, you can right click or drag it in wherever into the Teams folder, make your folder into the Teams and share it with the community in there. Also then let me know, and if I've got time, I'll go and check it for you. Hopefully that helps, and we'll be doing live sessions regularly and helping you sort of develop those strategies depending on your account size.